Very much, Doctor, for the opportunity, and thank you for having me here. I'm quite honored to be here and part of such a group of people that have participated in providing these webinars that I personally look up to them. So it's a privilege and an honor to be here. Thank you, Doctor, for that. So we're going to start with my entrepreneurial journey. We're going to look at all of the projects that I have started and closed, or not even started, had them as an idea. So we're going to start with the first thing. When I was 16, I started looking into gold and how we can invest in them because it was like the commodity that always had value throughout history. So when I was searching in the internet, I found out that old electronics or also like general electronics are gold plated due to their electric conductivity. It's like, yeah, I should get some of that out and sell the gold. So I tried like recycling gold from electronics, taking these chips. I remember taking all of the devices that were old at my house and then start cutting them off, getting the smaller pieces that had gold-plated parts. And then I studied like the chemical reaction that I need to do to separate them. That would give me at the end. So this was the vision back then, that I would get a lot of gold. But I soon realized that it was not feasible. I would have never made any money. I would have made quite a huge loss because the cost of like the extraction, the recycling for such a small batch was so high that I would have never made my money back. And I actually still have the chipped parts, the cut parts. I still have them like as a souvenir for myself. So the other problem was that it was illegal actually to do that, unless like you had specific CRs and like a lot of things that you have to go through until you get to this part. So that ended before it even started, but like I started experimenting a bit. And the next project was when I was 17 years old, I got into the remote control planes, the RC planes. This is still a project that I would love to do like in the future or hopefully soon enough, which is basically build these aircrafts that are remote control and sell them. So I learned how to do them with foam and tried to get some of the parts to get them, but I could not find them in Bahrain. I went to Dubai to get some of the parts. I could not import them in. And then, so it was not like feasible. I could not do it. I remember this was around my last year of school. It was my senior year when I was in school. Plus, the other bigger problem is that RC planes are illegal in Bahrain as well. So that even ended before it started. And I would have gotten into a lot of trouble if I built and sold a couple of these. So moving on, this was the first actual business that I have started and created a brand for it and had sold, which was edible cookie dough. It was within my beginning, early years of college. So I remember like sitting in my room looking into Instagram, and then I saw this edible cookie dough. It was in the US, and it looked really good. And it's like, I wish we had this in Bahrain. And then I was like, yeah, probably maybe I should get it. If we don't have it, there might be a demand for it. So I started Dot's edible cookie dough. Here I'm going to share some of the photos of the products. I kept them in jars with like sauce and other smaller parts. And I had different flavors, choco bisque, chocolate chips, s'mores, the packaging. So I targeted like mostly for events and all of these things. And I also created a test for it so that to make sure that it's edible and it's healthy. It's not like it doesn't have any bacteria, harmful bacteria. But at that time, did not have any CR. I did not know how to do it. I did not understand the financials of like how to generate profit out of a business. And due to like having to do all of these things, also I used to deliver each package by myself. So it was a lot of pressure to handle with the university. So I closed it almost a year later. I made like a few losses, but it was fun and gained quite a lot of experience throughout this, through branding, through talking to customers, and starting someone selling the financials. So I learned quite a lot throughout this short journey. And then I moved 2 years later with Manda 3D. I started with my partner. We were looking into like the 3D printing, and it was quite an interesting thing. It says that you have a single machine that can create all of these products and parts. So we got one. We started testing and testing and testing, and we saw that there is a potential, a business potential. So with Manda was very much experimental of what's the potential that we can do with 3D printing. So we experimented with creating a product, and Dr. Usra is actually a customer of ours within Manda and a major supporter. We started a product line. We created these capsule holders. We provided like these customized 3D photos. We worked on mechanical designs. We worked with interior designers and architects to create their models. And also, finally, we had this brought us other opportunities, like to work with the University of Bahrain to create the ventilator machine, which was a privilege to do so. It was mainly due to our knowledge behind 3D printing and rapid prototyping. So it allowed us, like, it brought in a lot of opportunities and a lot of experiments for us, like to define what's the proper market, uh, what to do and how to work on it. We created a brand, we had a CR, we had everything done properly, we had proper logistics. So this was where we were getting on track for something much better, something that can be considered a business, not just a hobby, and feasible. So now, as you can see, this is Xtrude Models, which is the like the refined Manda. So basically, we took all of the things we learned in Manda and all of the experiment and refined it into what's known today as Extrude Models. And to stay updated, you can follow us on Instagram, Xtrude.models, to stay updated within our project. So this is currently where we're currently at working, and hopefully things stay well within this project, and I will stay within this, not jump from one business to another. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips, like on, because the main problem is how to find a new business idea, which main people might struggle with. So mainly stay updated with new technologies. Always look at new technologies that are happening throughout the world, in China or in Europe or in US. You have all of these opportunities, so stay updated with them and look at what you can bring to the local or regional market as well, not just local. And the second thing is always read the news. Look at what are the people doing, what are they buying, what are the old trends that are going away, what are the new trends that are coming. So try to stay updated with the news, with the market, with everything that is going on, with the stock market. This would help tremendously make you prepare on choosing the right business idea at the right time. So it's very important to stay updated with the news on a daily basis, actually. And the third thing is to learn from other successful companies. So, like, you can look at other successful companies that have happened in the region or globally, learn from their mistakes, learn from what are the successful stories and how they achieved them. So it's very important, like, to learn from other successful companies so that you would not face the same problems that they had, and try to get the positive thing that they have learned from their companies. And finally, so I have a couple of books that I would recommend people to read. So the first section is the financial intelligence book. So if any one of you, whether they want to start a business or not, have a career, whatever their choice is, I would recommend reading these books because they will help you understand the financials of things, what is an asset, what is a liability, whether you are an entrepreneur or not. I believe that you should have basic knowledge of financial intelligence. For the long term, it would help you quite a lot. And then I have a couple of books for startups if you're willing to open a new business. These two books, Zero to One and The Lean Startup, helped me a lot in my early stages to make the right decisions. The first project when I started the university, it was very hard, like, to deal with everything by myself. I used to prepare the cookie dough and prepare the deliveries, deliver all of these things. So it was very time consuming. It was very tiring. So because I was like a single person that is carrying a business. So this was a lesson for me, like maybe I should partner with someone or prepare better logistics. So there are other solutions. So when I started Manda at that time, so the 3D printing, when I learned from whatever I knew from dots, because I knew that I did not have the time. The university required a lot of time, a lot of my daily time. So what I did was I tried to like split the work between me and my partner and try to outsource other works that I do not have to do them. Like delivery, now I deal with a delivery company. And branding, I deal with someone related to branding. For the packaging, I deal with someone related to the packaging. I did not have to put every single sticker by myself. So that saved me quite a lot of time. It's still, of course, it's a bit challenging to work. You'll have to put this extra couple of hours of your day to work on your project. It might not be like the quickest momentum, quickest growth you might need if you would have focused on it full time. But as long as you have growth, as long as you're learning, you're getting more and more connections, and you're continuing to do it, then you're on the right track. Because once you graduate, you'll be able to like work on it at the full time while having the connections ready, while you have learned from your mistakes. So it's challenging, but at the same time rewarding to do it. Prototyping is important. It's vital for any project. So when I started, as an example, dots, there was no recipe that I could find in Google and just take it and apply it. So it was like taking a couple of recipes and then mixing and then trying and then prototyping and then testing, giving your friends, your family to test, get some feedback. So this was vital to get like the final product that was actually good enough to be sellable, and then people would recommend it to other people. And in the case of Manda, we got our first printer. We had to test it. We had to prototype. We worked on it maybe for many years, for many months, until like we were able to get it properly right, working properly. So prototyping is very important, and then moving from prototyping to small batch production, like producing small batches, and then get the feedback around that. And then from there, once you have a very defined product or a service, and then you can go for mass production. The major actually helped me quite a lot with starting my business. So first of all, getting introduced to the technology itself was through my major and my interest within my major. Plus, we were able to get a machine for a much lower cost, because as mechanical engineers, we knew that we could improve it throughout our background in engineering. So it was a mechanical machine. So we know how to improve it. We know how to work it. So we knew how to save quite a lot of money. Instead of paying a couple of thousand dinars on a machine, we were able to do it for like 200 dinars using our background knowledge. As well as it helped me to start it, because we have 3D modeling, we have 3D designing, we have so all of these subjects that I've learned throughout my major actually helps me to do it. Actually, it opens up. It also allows me to open my eye into other markets, other possibilities. So the major actually helped me within starting it, saving within the cost. It gave me experience. It took me up that I could tap into. So the name mechanical engineer, that I learned throughout these semesters is what's actually valuable. 3D printing, it's a new technology, and you have a lot of types, you have a lot of applications. One of the good problems actually is that you have a lot of things to do that you don't know what to do. So this was one of the problems. So it's and this technology is still rapidly changing. Like you're getting new machines, newer machines, more modern. They're much better than the one from last year. So you have to continuously keep on track with this technology that is rapidly growing. So this is a good problem actually to have. But technically, yeah, you have a lot of problems that you'll have to get your hands on to understand them. Otherwise, you cannot just explain.